So let's get into the last story of the night, man. Whoa, let's talk about our girl. Let's talk about our girl, Gina Carano. If you guys don't know, Hollywood After Dark has a couple of shirts we're going to start selling here. One of them is Gina Carano did everything wrong. That's going to come all the way up to 4X in order for someone like heel versus babyface to be able to use it as a sleeping blanket. And then, of course, my personal favorite, the Gina Shot First shirt, which I actually do really like this, and I do want to make this a real shirt. I actually really think it turned out surprisingly well. It turned out surprisingly well. It has a mixture of childlike innocence of that smile and full-on scoundrel with that body. But that is what we're dealing with today when we're talking about our gal pal Gina. Like, what's going on with Gina? Why are we talking about her? Well, there's a couple of things that have gone on. For one, like I said, here we found out she's got new management. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But just recently, Gina gave herself, she gave an interview with, I forget which outlet it was, but I got a bit of an update here. So she says she's been facing challenges in her career following her dismissal from Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company over 3 years ago due to her controversial social media posts. Now, if you listen to Gina talk about it, she'll be like, I did nothing wrong. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. Right? I was just asking questions. Why can't I ask questions? And then they say there are no stupid questions, just stupid people. But anyway, her termination was announced in early 2021 after she shared content comparing the political climate to Nazi Germany, right? She did. That is, you can't, it doesn't matter what side of the political coin you're on. She did share a meme that was basically, comparing the current political climate to Nazi Germany, especially the treatment of the Jews in the ghettos, of all that. And then she was implying that it was conservatism that was the one that was the Jews. And we all know that that's not the case. So she screwed up. We know she screwed up. And then she kept doubling down. Never mind her comments on freaking COVID was stupid and voter fraud was just ridiculously dumb. The problem with Gina Carano, and I've said this before, is that everyone decided for some reason to treat her like she's an idiot, right? And then to use her like she's an idiot. And that part is really sad, in my opinion, because she's not an idiot, but she was used by people who were just making money off of her name and off of her naivety, if you will. And that's unfortunate, right? That is unfortunate because she was good in Deadpool. She was good in Fast and Furious. She was good in Haywire. And I liked her, and she wasn't even terrible in Terror on the Prairie, even though the movie wasn't very good. But anyway, she has engaged in a few projects since leaving the show 3 years ago. She did the movie Terror on the Prairie with the Daily Wire. Oh, by the way, she is no longer partners with the company. So Daily Wire, this is the whole thing. Ben Shapiro comes out, right? Ben Shapiro comes out and he uses her completely, right? He's like, oh, we're going to do the interview. We're going to do the interview with Gina Carano, and I'm going to give her all the answers ahead of time, and I'm going to set her up entirely, and she's going to just answer what I basically set her up to answer. Okay. And then we're going to use her as a coupon code. You can get 25% off of Daily Wire Plus by using coupon code Gina. So as we jokingly called her, she was Gina Cupano. Because at that point, that's literally all she was. She had fundamentally screwed up her career by, and I mean, this is not even just like the show. This is like literally like convention circuits, big, Avengers level events down the road. I mean, always finding a way to come back in, being a fan favorite character. I mean, it would have been like, I don't want to say easy street, but it would have been a good, solid money making job that she could have used to be able to just like have that outside of just being like a UFC fighter, also beloved Star Wars character. But she threw it all away because why? Because people were using her. That's the best way to describe it. She was just surrounded by people who were using her and lying to her most likely. And everything else. But she goes on, and this is where I feel bad. I don't want to make fun of her really, but I get it. She describes feeling isolated and struggling to find her place in the industry, likening her situation to being in a desert. But it's a desert of her own making. right? Like, this is where it's at. This is where I feel it's at right now. Is Gina Carano, if she's no longer working with Daily Wire, because remember, she only did Terror on the Prairie, and then she did that Robert Davey $2 million propaganda piece for the 2020 election, or 2022 midterm, sorry. The My Son Hunter, which went nowhere and did nothing. And the guy who played Hunter Biden, I think, is actually like in trouble for some kind of sexual assault thing, I think. Don't quote me on that, but like I read something just recently the other day. At this particular point, like if I were Gina Carano at this point, I would contact Jon Favreau, and I would flat out be like, can you talk to them for me? I'll do what you need me to do. Right? I want back in. And here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with that, though. If she actually did that, which would be the smart move for not only her sanity, but her career, her well-being, both mental and physical. Sure, she's got money from her family who are like casino barons. But if she were to do that, people would, you'd have your vocals on Twitter or whatever that are just complete dicks and aren't even going to be good. But most people would be like, okay, fine. People make mistakes, right? It was a hard time. It was a difficult time. It's easy to get manipulated. It's not hard to be manipulated by social media because we know how it works. And we know that there are bad faith actors that try to hurt people in order to make themselves look better, feel better, make more money. We know that, right? And we know that the chuds do that. And I really hope so. But this whole situation with Elon Musk and this lawsuit, this is what she should do. Call Favreau. Just look, I if I were her, here's how I would play it. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. Call Favreau, text Favreau, say Carl's death impacted her. I'm sure it has. She wants to find a way to make things right. She's going to talk with Elon about dropping the lawsuit. Can she get a talk with Kathleen Kennedy or Bob Iger or whomever? And can they find a way to make this work? Can they find a way to make this right? Because what they're asking in this lawsuit, what they are literally asking for in this lawsuit is $75,000 in punitive damages at minimum. And then to give her job back. And that's not how you get your job back. Really, it's getting the pay that she would have potentially gotten had those shows gone forward, but it's really not going to matter. It's ridiculous. This wrongful termination lawsuit is bogus. We all know it's bogus. Anyone who pays attention to it knows that it's bogus. She does have new representation. She was with UTA before she parted ways 3 years ago. Now she's joined forces with Rob Weston's Straightwire Entertainment Group. I don't know who they are, but if they're called Straightwire, I don't have a good feeling about that. But it is in her best interest, literally in her best interest, to do what's best for her career and to absolutely, move the other way from it, right? Absolutely move away from all this shit, disengage with politics completely, get the acting gigs. She'll have to work her way back, but trust me, people can move, people can absolutely get their way back. She didn't commit sexual assault. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's the end of the world. Okay. Like even Kevin Spacey's making movies again. All right. And he was a huge star that got fucking fall from grace. But Carano, I would love to actually sit down with her and have a conversation and ask her why she feels like people like the quartering who, was simping over her feet after he went and interviewed her on the set of Terror on the Prairie. And then was talking about cuck fantasies between him and her. You know what I mean? It's why does she hang with these people when it's not hard to look at what they do and go, yeah, no, you're all kind of fucking retarded. Right? It's just what it is.